Victor Santiago had flown halfway across the world to visit his ailing father in San Diego. A Filipino-American software architect, Victor had lived in Singapore for the past decade, building a tech consultancy from the ground up. But when he received the call that his father had collapsed from a stroke, he didn't hesitate. He packed his bags, left his assistant in charge, and boarded the next available flight. At 39, Victor was a composed, articulate man with an unmistakable warmth about him. Fluent in English, Tagalog, and Visayan, he often switched between languages when talking to family. That detail would become the spark for everything that followed. His flight arrived at LAX just before noon on a crisp Monday in March. The airport buzzed with spring travelers, agents calling out connecting gates, flight attendants pushing carts, and loudspeaker announcements filling the terminal air. Victor walked through the arrivals corridor, texting his cousin that he'd landed safely. As he stepped near the baggage claim, he called his sister. Speaking in Tagalog, he laughed and reassured her, "Don't worry, I'll be there soon. I just have to get the rental car." Nearby, a TSA officer named Kyle Brenner, a recent hire with a history of behavioral complaints, overheard Victor. Kyle, who had been reprimanded before for profiling travelers, snapped to attention. To him, foreign languages sounded like threats. His mind was primed by years of bias and fear, and when he heard Victor speaking fluently in Tagalog, his face twisted with suspicion. He followed Victor through the terminal, watching him greet another Filipino family waiting for their bags. Still on the phone, Victor had no idea he was being followed. When Victor picked up his suitcase and headed toward the rental car shuttle, Kyle cut him off. "Sir, I need you to step aside, now." Startled, Victor lowered his phone. "Is something wrong?" Kyle narrowed his eyes. "You were speaking a foreign language in a restricted zone." Victor blinked. "I was talking to my sister. I'm just here visiting family." Kyle didn't budge. "Step aside. This is a federal checkpoint. You're acting suspicious." The accusation came out of nowhere. Passengers turned their heads. Victor raised his hand slightly, trying to keep calm. "I have my passport and ticket. I just got off the flight from Singapore. I haven't even left the airport." But Kyle was already on his radio, calling for backup. "Code 4 at Terminal B, individual refusing to comply." "I'm not refusing anything," Victor said, his voice trembling now. "I just want to know why I'm being stopped." Kyle reached for Victor's bag and began rifling through it without permission. "What's this? Electronics? Where were you really coming from?" Victor's heart pounded. "That's my laptop and hard drive. I work in tech." "Yeah? Doing what?" Kyle snapped. "Coding for who? You got any military ties overseas?" Victor couldn't believe what he was hearing. The questions were absurd, loaded with assumptions soaked in paranoia. "No," he replied firmly. "I'm here to see my sick father. That's all." By now, a crowd had formed. People pulled out their phones. One woman, a law student named Dana, hit record. "What's he doing wrong?" she asked aloud. "Why is he being detained?" Kyle barked at her to move along, but Dana stood her ground. "I'm a U.S. citizen," Victor said again. "I've done nothing wrong. I was just speaking my native language." That's when Kyle made a move that changed everything. He tried to handcuff Victor in front of everyone. Victor didn't resist, but as the cuffs clicked shut, a small boy nearby burst into tears, pointing at Victor and saying, "He didn't do anything." His mother hugged him tightly. Dana's video captured it all. The unnecessary escalation, the bias, the fear, and Victor's poise. Within minutes, the clip was on social media. Dana tweeted, "Man arrested at LAX for speaking Tagalog. Is this America now?" The video spread like wildfire. By the time Victor was escorted to a back room, the footage had over 100,000 views. A civil rights attorney named Mark Gillespie saw the post and immediately contacted Victor's sister. "Tell him not to sign anything. I'm on my way." In the holding room, Kyle paced like a predator while Victor sat silently. "You people think you can just walk around here unchecked," Kyle muttered. "You people," Victor repeated slowly. "You mean Filipinos, immigrants, Asians?" Kyle looked away. "You're twisting my words." "No," Victor said. "I'm hearing them clearly." When airport supervisors arrived, tipped off by the viral video, they found Kyle flustered, his story unraveling. Supervisors demanded an explanation. Kyle claimed Victor was uncooperative and refused to identify himself. But by then, the video proved otherwise. Dana's footage had audio. It showed Victor offering his passport, explaining himself calmly and still being cuffed. The assistant director of airport security reviewed the footage